is Catherine Dressel, and this is my presentation on the presentation of psychological disorders in film. So I chose one of my favorite Disney movies, Monsters University, and the character that I'm focusing on is Mike Wazowski. So Monsters University is the prequel to Disney's film Monsters, Inc., even though it did come out afterwards. And it explores the journey of Sully and Mike, two monsters, who are in Monsters University's SCARE program. So this movie takes place over their first semester, and it's a typical standard modern college environment. So any college campus is basically like this movie, and it has fraternities, sororities, and students who don't really fit into either of those groups. They're just there to study hard and get good grades. The disorder that Mike has is called narcissistic personality disorder, and people with this disorder tend to have a big ego, this great need to be the center of attention, an undeserved sense of achievement, so they think that they're great, that they've done all these things, and that they deserve to be treated as if they had achieved those things. And they also have a lack of empathy for others. So since this disorder isn't a danger to others or the person who has it, the indicators can be missed or trivialized. So if he got diagnosed or he went to a therapist, they may not diagnose him as anything at all. They may just say that he's out of touch with reality, or that he just has a big ego and that there's nothing that can be done about it. So the stigma of being diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder are that you're big-headed and that plain and simple you're just a jerk and nothing can be fixed. The symptoms that Mike shows a lot in Monsters University are, for one, a lack of empathy for others. So they have these games called the Scare Games, in which a group of monsters have to compete against each other, sororities and fraternities. And in the Toxicity Challenge, you have to encourage all of your teammates, help them all to get across the line. But Mike doesn't do that. He forgets about them. He ignores their issues and only focuses on how well he can do in the competition. Another thing that he shows is behaving in an arrogant or haughty manner. So he tells his friend that he's going to scare circles around him, that he is the whole package, that he's going to carry the whole team, that no one else needs to do anything because he has everything that their fraternity needs to win. But something that he doesn't show is he does associate with people who he thinks are somewhat less than him. He actually eventually becomes nice and eventually treats them equally, but the whole time he does associate them. He doesn't avoid them. So narcissistic personality disorder doesn't have any drugs or biomedical therapy associated with fixing it per se. So the main treatment would be psychotherapy, talk therapy, talking with a therapist or a qualified person who could address the issues verbally with him. And since he's in a college environment, going to therapy may not be received well, except by people who care about him and are close to him. So it may be a source of ridicule for him because monsters are typically expected to be rough and frightening, and his desire to be thought well of and to be esteemed might also be affected by a diagnosis. So I thought that the portrayal of this disorder in Monsters University was pretty accurate, as Mike displayed several of the symptoms associated with it and was consistent in his portrayal and his showing of this disorder. And the movie showed that the way he was acting was not good, that it was really problematic, but he could modify his actions. to have his happy ending. He didn't need to completely change his life or get therapy or anything. He just needed to understand and reevaluate how he was treating others because of his disorder.